Okay, well, there's 10 a.m. It is so good to see everyone here. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to try and show you 8 techniques today that will help you recoup all of that money that you've lost during the coronavirus shutdown. I apologize for my hair. I can't imagine how difficult this must be for all of you who actually have hair. Um, I've written 7 books, and I'm going to show you today how you can get any one of them free. Let me share my screen with you first of all. There we go. Here's just a quick picture of the 7 that I've written. At the end of the show, I'll just tell you, you can email me and take your pick of any one of the 7, and I'll email you an e-copy of it if you like. And I'll also be able to give you a $1,997 value absolutely free. I'll be happy to go through your entire business, show you where your boat is leaking, show you how to plug the leaks, have proprietary software I'll take you through if you're interested in it. But for now, we're going to show you several. I'm sorry, I need to let somebody else into the waiting room. There we go. Okay. I'm going to show you 8 techniques that you could use, and I've got dozens of them, but many of you are overwhelmed, and you have been for many years. You've been trying to do everything. You've got dozens of jobs, if not hundreds of jobs. Well, I'm going to take a whole lot of that weight off of your shoulders. We're only going to focus today on 5 specific areas of business. The 80% of things that you do that generate 20% of your income. They are generating more leads, converting more of those leads into paying customers, getting those customers to buy more things more often from you, raising your prices, and I'll show you how to do that without losing any sales, and also how to generate more profit out of each individual sale. Let me show you how just a tiny incremental increase in each of these 5 areas will make a massive difference in your business. Let's suppose you're in a company that happens to generate 1,000 leads per day, or per year rather. Some of you would starve on 1,000 leads, others of you could retire in 12 months, but this is purely hypothetical. And let's say, just for the sake of the illustration, that 25% of those leads become paying customers. So that means that you have 250 customers per year. And just for the sake of the illustration, let's say that each of those customers buys from you 10 times per year at an average price of $100 per product or service per transaction. That means you're generating $250,000 per year in annual revenues. And if your profit margin were 25%, that means that you've got $62,500 in net profit at the end of the year. Now, let's suppose that we raise each of those categories only 10%. Instead of 1,000 leads, we're going to generate 1,100 leads. We're going to convert 27.5% of them. That means you have 302 customers. That's 1 more every week. And instead of 10 transactions per year, we're going to raise that to 11 at $110 per transaction. That means you've now got $365,000 per year in annual revenues. We're going to squeeze 10% more profit out of each sale. That means now that you've generated about 65% more in net profit at the end of the year. That's just with 10% increase in each category. I'm aiming a whole lot higher than that. I think we can easily do 50% to 100% in each of those categories, except probably in raising prices. If we raised our prices that much, we would indeed lose some sales. So let's say that we raise these things 50% in each category, except for price. And now all of a sudden, you've got $350,000 per year in annual profits. That is a fantastic increase, and that's where I'm going to help you take your business if you'll allow me. Now, the key to successful marketing is this. You have to enter the conversation that is taking place in your customer's head at the precise moment that they are asking it. That used to be almost impossible. All you could do is spread 50,000 postcards to the wind, knowing that 25 of them would land in the hands of a person who would say, "What a coincidence. I was just looking for somebody to remodel my bathroom." Or, "I was just thinking I need somebody to trim the trees in my backyard or to adjust my spine." But now, thanks to the internet, you can transform the World Wide Web into a giant electromagnet that will proactively pull all of the needles out of the haystack so you can market only to those 25 people. And if we do this properly, we can save a whole lot of time, a whole lot of frustration, and hopefully a whole lot of money as well. People only buy two things. They buy solutions to problems and they buy good feelings. There's a problem that they have that they want to get rid of, and there's a bad feeling that they want to replace with a good one. So all we're going to sell is solutions and great feelings. We do this by means of what we call the conversion equation. The conversion equation is a formula that all of your marketing should follow. It has four parts. The first is the interrupt. This is your headline. The interrupt should be the first thing anybody hears when they hear a radio advertisement or when you give them your elevator pitch. It should be the first thing anybody sees on a postcard or a Valpak insert or on your business card. This should stop people in their tracks. It should make them do a double take. It should make them quit thinking about the 14 other things that are going on in their life at this moment and go, wait, what? It should convince them that you understand that problem that they want to get rid of or that bad feeling they want to replace with a good one. Now, if you don't know how to write this, no problem. I've got over 400 of them already written in my website that you'll be able to get access to. You can just pick the ones that make the most sense for your company or your business and insert them. The second phase is the engage. This is a subheadline. It should be the second thing anybody hears or sees when they encounter your marketing, and it should tease that you can offer them the solution they're looking for or the good feeling that they desire. The third is educate. This is where you make your case that you are the vendor to solve their problem or provide that good feeling that they are looking for. Now, depending on the medium that you choose, it might be just a sentence or two, or it could be pages in a long sales letter. This will be dictated by the medium that you choose. And finally, you make an offer. You have to offer something that is so compelling that it is almost irresistible. They really, really want what it is that you are offering. Now, because of the saturation factor, most prospects have to be touched between 80 and 120 times before they are ready to buy. Excuse me. If you use the conversion equation, you might be able to squeeze that down to 8 or 12 times, but you still have to touch them multiple times before they are ready to buy. And this presents a huge window of opportunity for you because most of your competitors do absolutely nothing with the prospect that chooses to say no at this moment. I'm going to show you how you can stay in touch with these people time after time after time to make sure that when they are ready to buy, they have long since been on a conveyor belt that leads directly to your door. Now, when I ask the average business, what is your marketing strategy? The typical owner says, well, we send postcards, or we send out coupons in the mail, or we do radio advertising. And that is precisely the wrong answer. That's got the cart way before the horse. When you're marketing, you need to start by analyzing your target. You want to identify the people that are the most likely to buy your product or service and the window of time in their life, in their year, or in their month or week when they are most likely to buy. And then you get a hold of a list of only those people. We don't want to spread 10,000 postcards to people knowing that the vast majority of them have no interest in your product or service. We want to target only the ones that are going to be likely to buy your product or service. And then we determine what message we want to deliver to these people. We're going to use the conversion equation in our messaging, and we're also going to include what is called a market dominating position. This is something that you offer that none of your competitors do or can or are willing to or have ever thought about. This is what will separate you from all of your competitors in their mind. We don't want them comparing you to everyone else based on price alone. If people make their decision based on price, that's usually because you've given them no other reason to differentiate you from your competition. What we want is a market dominating position, so they're not comparing apples to apples. When they look at you, they see some exotic fruit and they have no frame of reference by which to compare you to your competitors because you're so very different in their mind. We want to make sure that all of your employees can state your market dominating position clearly. Back in the day when Domino's came into existence, their market dominating position was fresh hot pizza to your door in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. That separated them apart from everyone else. Now, once we have determined your target market and the message that we are going to deliver to them, then and only then do we choose the best medium that will deliver that message. So let's go to our 5-step formula and look, first of all, how are we going to generate more leads? The best and the quickest way to generate more leads is that you create something called joint venture partnerships. And this is something you can do today. Long before the coronavirus shutdown ends, you can be hard at work doing this so that you are ready to just catapult out of the gate. Every business is a part of a web, a network, a chain of companies who serve the same clients. We're not talking about your competitors. We're talking about complementary products and services that your customers are also likely to buy. And we want to establish relationships with one complementary company in each category who are contractually obligated on paper to refer their customers to you and you to them, vice versa. Let's take, for example, a florist. If you are a florist, you are a part of several chains, dominoes that tend to fall in a particular order. You are in the Mother's Day chain. You are in the Valentine's Day chain. You're in the funeral chain. When somebody dies, a florist somewhere is going to get business. We want to make sure that that florist is you if you're a client of ours. Now, let's use an upbeat one. Let's suppose we're going to use the wedding chain. The moment that the jeweler sells a young man that engagement ring, a whole set of dominoes begin to fall that is going to lead to business for a florist. As soon as the young girl says, I do, and puts that ring on her finger, maybe she goes out and she looks to hire a wedding planner to supervise the entire process. And then she's going to need a venue, a chapel, someplace to get married. And then she's going to need a caterer for the reception and a limo to take her and the groom to and from the wedding. And then she's going to need a band or a DJ. She's going to need somebody to officiate the wedding. She's going to need to buy a dress from someone, and she's going to need someone to rent those tuxes from for the groomsman and the groom himself. All of these people in this chain need to be sending business to you, Mr. or Miss Florist. And you need to reward them handsomely, and contractually, you are obligated to send them 10 or 15% of the deal back up the chain to make it well worth their while so they cannot wait to send you the next deal. But the chain doesn't stop there, does it? It continues to go from there. First of all, there's going to be a wedding cake. And you need to be sending business to the baker. And then they're going to need a printer for all of the wedding invitations. And then we're going to need a travel agent for the honeymoon. And then a few months later, we're going to need a marriage counselor. And then 5 or 7 years later, we're going to need a divorce lawyer. I'm being facetious. But all of the people below you in the chain need to be sending kickbacks to you from business that you have sent to them. Now, let's look at what a remarkable difference this could make in your life. Let's suppose that you get just one lead from above you in this particular chain per month. I think you'll get several. And let's say that the average florist deal is $2,000 for a wedding. We're going to send 10% back up the chain to whoever referred the business. So you're getting $1,800 for every referral. And in a given year, that's going to be $21,600 per year from just one deal per month in just one chain. We've got several chains going, remember, we're going to establish for you. And then below you, let's suppose you're getting just one kickback per month from these people below you. Hopefully you'll get more than one, and hopefully you'll be running lots of different chains, so you'll be getting several. But if the average wedding cake deal is $1,000 and they send 10% back to you, that's an additional $1,200 to you that costs you precisely zero. And so we're getting about $23,000 per business in annual revenues from just one referral per month in just one Chain. With just this one strategy, we've got dozens that we're going to show you. I want to talk to you about something called the buyer's journey. Almost all websites fail because they're marketing for this person right here. We'll call them the one percenters, the people who are ready to buy right now. Now, if you sell cheeseburgers, it's going to be much higher than 1%. But if you sell Ferraris, it might be much less than 1%. What we want to do is definitely get that now buyer, but we also want to market to the 99%, the people who are just thinking about maybe one day adding a deck to the back of their house with a jacuzzi. They're not ready to buy yet. They're not even sure they're ever going to buy, but they're thinking about it. And then there are the people who have decided, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to add a deck to the back of my house with a jacuzzi. And now all they want to know is the vendor that they need to choose. So we want to make sure that they are on a conveyor belt to your business long before they ever become a now buyer. Most websites fail because they only market to the 1%. We're going to market to them and to the 99%. Let me show you a website from a child psychologist. I want you to tell me what is wrong with this website. Here's the answer. Everything. First of all, the headline. Parenting advice and resources from Dr. John Smith. Let me ask you a question. Does that interrupt you? Does that stop you in your tracks? Does that make you do a double take? Do you think, that's exactly what I need? Parenting advice, preferably from a PhD. And you know what would be really sweet? If his name were John Smith. No, nobody thinks that. What we need is a headline that answers the question that a person is thinking at the very time that they type it into Google. Nobody types in parenting advice into Google. They type in a specific need. The second thing wrong with this website is this right here. Specializing in emotionally disturbed children, behavioral problems, teen pregnancy, handling peer pressure, bullying, self-esteem issues. Let me ask you a question. Does that sound like a specialist to you? That's not a specialist. That's a generalist. If I type in belligerent child or my kid screams and yells all the time, I don't want to come to a page of a generalist. If I think I might be having a heart problem, I don't want to go to a generalist, do I? I want to go to a specialist, somebody who knows a lot about hearts. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being able to do lots of things well, but in marketing, that is sometimes perceived as a net negative, not a net positive. Now, every now and then, Dr. John Smith is going to get lucky. Some mother is going to come onto his homepage and think, sweet, eureka, I have found it. I was just looking for somebody to help me with my 17-year-old drug-addicted kid, my 16-year-old who's pregnant, my 14-year-old who's being bullied, and my 12-year-old who has no self-esteem. But that's a rarity. What we need is 9 different pages. And we're not going to send our search engine optimization to his homepage. That is the kiss of death if you offer more than one product or service. You want to send them to a page that is specializing in exactly what they typed into Google just a few milliseconds before. The next problem that's wrong with this website is the offer. Free consultation. Call now to schedule a complimentary 30-minute session with Dr. John Smith and the phone number that we've anonymized here. The only people that are going to pick up the phone are the people who are desperate, the now buyers. Most people are not going to do that because they know why John Smith wants to give away a free consultation. It's not because he wants to give away free time. It's because he wants to close you. Because the moment you get into his office for that free consultation, he's going to begin to twist your arm to try and get you to sign on the dotted line. And I'm not willing to put myself at risk. This is like walking up to a strange woman in a bar and saying, hello, will you marry me? The ask is too great. The risk is too high. What we want is a low risk offer. We walk up to the woman and we say, hello, can I buy you a drink? That's a low threat offer. We get her to take a baby step in our direction, and that's the goal of the website. That's the goal of the offer. In order to be effective, it has to be low risk, but it also has to be compelling. You can't walk up to a strange woman in a bar and say, hello, can I get you a glass of ice water? It's not compelling. She can get her own free ice water anytime she wants. Now, if you're fabulously wealthy, you can walk up to a strange woman in a bar and say, "Hello, can I buy you a car?" That's compelling. That's going to interrupt her. That's going to get her attention. We need an offer that is both low risk and compelling. Let me ask you, what is the offer from this financial planner? Here it is. Call me, make an appointment, call me, make an appointment, and come see me. Why does this financial planner want me to call him or make an appointment to come see him? Because this complete stranger wants to twist my arm and talk me into taking my life savings, putting it in the hands of a stranger who this time next year might wind up in a beach in Rio with his 25-year-old Portuguese housemaid and all of my money. Let's look at this chiropractor. What is the offer? Call me. Come into my office so I can twist your delicate spine in bizarre ways. What we want is a lower threat offer that will cause them to take a baby step if they're not yet in the 1% category. They're not yet now buyers. Let's look at these two cosmetic surgeons. What is the offer they're making on their website here? It is, call me, come into my office and take off your shirt. Call me, come into my office and take off your shirt. The ask is too great. It's too high. Only the now buyers are going to respond. Now, let me cite a case study that was run with a cosmetic surgeon who was offering mommy makeover surgeries. This cosmetic surgeon was paying for pay-per-click advertising on Facebook and getting 35 leads per month. 35 people clicked on his ad and he got billed by Facebook for them. He was converting precisely 0 of them into paying customers. So we changed from a website to a squeeze page. Now notice this squeeze page has no navigation bars. There's nothing you can do on this squeeze page except click off of it or give your name and address. Notice at the top of the squeeze page, we use our conversion equation. The interrupt is, I want the body I had before I had kids. That's the question the new mother is asking. She's looking in the mirror and saying, dang, I wish I looked like I did 3 years ago, right? And then with the engages, we tease her, time to get rid of problem areas on your hips, thighs, and tummy. That teases the solution to the problem that she has. And then we educate her briefly in this limited space we have about why this cosmetic surgery might just be the answer, and then look at the offer. Free eye-opening report. Candid answers about mommy makeover surgeries. What are the risks? What are the benefits? And will it look natural? Put your first name and your email address in here. We'll send you this free report. That is a low risk effort. Now, let's look at the results. He was previously getting a conversion rate of 0%, but now 2/3 of the people that go to his squeeze page are requesting the free report. His patient conversion rate from these was 8%. So let's look at how the money works out here. He's still paying for 35 pay-per-clicks on Facebook per month, so his marketing fees have not gone up one dime. 67% of these people have now generated 24 new hot prospects, and then 8% of them is now generating 3 new patients every single month. And because cosmetic surgery is so expensive, that's $60,000 in monthly revenue at $20,000 a pop per surgery. Now, if you're selling donuts, it's going to be a whole lot less than that. If you're selling mansions in Malibu, it could be considerably less, but write this down. The key to converting leads from your website is to create a compelling offer. And if you don't know how to write these, no problem. We've already got lots of them pre-written. Here's one for the bridal chain. 5 things every bride should know to avoid disaster on wedding day. Do you think that a bride would want to read this report? Sure. And everyone in the wedding chain, from the jeweler all the way down to the DJ and the printer and the travel agent, needs to be offering this on their website and sending business to everyone else in the chain. This is many, many pages long, and the bride is going to get it and she's going to read it. But we don't care if she reads it or not because the website has done its job. It has provided us with a hot prospect, a target market. We're not going to now market to the millions or the thousands. We're going to market to the few that downloaded the free report. Let's suppose you're somebody who builds sunrooms on homes as additions. We're going to not say, call me and I'll give you a free quote. You might offer that, but you also want a low-risk offer. Here's a multi-page guide in full color that's beautiful. Say, give me your email address and I will email you this report. Now, when they get this report, are they going to read it? Of course not. They're going to skim it. They're going to set it aside, think they'll get to it later. But we don't care because we already now have all of our future buyers on a conveyor belt. We have their contact information and we can shepherd them along the buyer's journey until they are ready to buy from us. And like I said, we've got lots of these written in lots of different professions. Let's talk about a way to convert more of our leads to sales. First of all, we're going to downsell. Downselling is when you offer somebody a lower priced opportunity when they turn down your initial offer. If you're a florist and a young man comes through the door and says, I want to get a dozen red roses for my sweetheart, and you say, that'll be $50, and they balk and say, oh, wow, that's a lot pricier than I thought. You don't let them walk out the door. You say, well, how about a dozen tulips for $30? If that's still too much, you say, how about half a dozen red roses for $25? And if that's still too much, you say, how about a dozen daisies for $15? The goal is to make them a customer at any price. So they get accustomed to doing business with you. You can develop a relationship with you. They learn to trust you and they like what you sell. Now let's talk about a way to make sure that you stay in touch with people through a revenue producing drip campaign. You remember the sunroom guide we just talked about? They're not going to read it, but that's no problem because we're going to divide it up into pieces and we're going to use it as an excuse to stay in touch with people. This has 7 different benefits in it of having a sunroom. The first is to enjoy the comfort of the outdoors 365 days per year. We're simply going to turn this into a postcard. There's the front, there's the back. If you want to enjoy the sun 365 days per year, well, you can enjoy yours in your underwear, but we wouldn't recommend it because it is a glass room. So we're going to send this postcard a couple of months later. And then a couple of months later, we're going to take benefit 2, and we're going to send it to them. And then a month or 2 later, depending on whatever you think is most advantageous, we're going to send them benefit 3 in the form of a postcard to shepherd them along the buyer's journey right down the conveyor belt. So when they become a now buyer, they're ready to do business with you. They've already chosen their vendor. Let's look back at our child psychologist. We took him from 300 leads per day, which was resulting in 30 pay-per-click clicks and 3 new customers per month, to a squeeze page. Now look at the top line here. That is the interrupt. Are you sick and tired of the yelling and screaming and the belligerent attitude of your child? Does that answer the question that somebody might have typed into Google? Of course it does. And now we're going to tease them. Now you can learn the secrets of controlling your child and instantly restore peace and quiet in your home. There's that feeling that they really want. And then we're in the educate, that's just a little video. And Dr. Smith says, I know what you're going through and I know how to get your child quiet, peaceful, and cooperative. And look at the offer right in the middle. Learn the secrets to gaining and maintaining complete control of your child in less than 60 seconds. Put in your first name and your email address. That's a low-risk offer. So what happened? Well, he's still getting 300 leads every single month from his pay-per-click campaign, but now twice as many, 60, are giving their email address and requesting the free report. 6 of them consent to the consultation and become patients. The average sale value is $500 per customer. That's 4 appointments at $125 per appointment. So now he's picking up an additional $1,500 a month in monthly revenues and $18,000 in annual revenues every single month. But we're not going to stop here. we've got the 300 leads, we've got the 60 opt-ins, we've got the 6 more clients, but that means that 54 hot prospects did not buy. Are we going to ignore them? No, your competitors are, but we're not going to let our clients do that. They're not going to drop through the floorboard cracks. They're not going to be lost into the wind. We're going to begin to drip on them. We're going to begin to send them an email or a postcard every single month. And that means that 54 prospects in the next month hypothetically become new patients. And we're going to test, how does this work out? The old way, he was getting 300 leads, 30 inquiries, 3 new clients, 27 lost, and then the next month he was going to do it again and lose 27 more fresh, hot prospects from his 300 new leads that he paid for. The next month he's going to get 300 fresh, hot leads. 3 of them will become patients. 27 more fall through the cracks. The next month, the same thing. So at the end of 4 months, this guy has 12 patients and 108 hot prospects ignored. But now look at what happens with the squeeze page. He still gets the same 300 leads, but now 60 people download his free report. He gets 6 new clients and 54 hot prospects are going to be dripped on. We're going to stay in touch with them. So the next month, again, he's going to get 300 fresh, hot prospects from pay-per-click, 60 new inquiries, 6 new clients, and 106 new prospects dripped on, and 2 of them are going to buy. And then the next month, it's going to happen again. 4 of them are going to buy from the drip campaign. Then it's going to happen again. By the end of 4 months, this guy has 24 new patients from his pay-per-click campaign, double the amount. And he also has 12 from his drip campaign. So now this guy has 36 patients instead of 12, and he has 220 fresh, hot prospects in the pipeline. And now 4 months later, the old way, he's got 24 pay-per-click patients. He's got 216 prospects ignored. And notice by month 5, he's getting more new clients from his drip campaign than he was from his pay-per-click campaign. And at the end of 8 months, this guy has 104 new patients. Now, can he handle 104 patients? No, of course not. So you know what he does? He just turns off his pay-per-click campaign and saves all that money, and he rides his drip campaign until it peters out. When it peters out, he just turns the pay-per-click back on. This is what it looks like over the course of an entire year. Now, how are you going to get your prospects to buy more things from you more often? Well, let's look at more transactions. The best way is to upsell and cross-sell. Upsell is when you offer a deluxe or higher priced item to somebody when they buy from you. This is when the pimply-faced 17-year-old at McDonald's says, "Would you like to supersize that?" Since you're going to buy a meal anyway, why not make it a large drink and fries? Cross-selling is, would you like an apple pie with that? Studies show that McDonald's makes $1.2 billion per year with that one simple question. You say, well, I'm not in the food business. No problem. If you're a massage therapist, while you're on the massage table, if you don't have an appointment right on the heels of this one, you say, well, would you like me to go 30 minutes longer for just an additional 20 bucks? And if you're going to cross-sell, you say, would you like to take some home some of that luxurious oil that I'm using? What if you're a divorce lawyer? While you're with the woman, you say, would you like me to include the papers to go back to your maiden name? If you do it now, it's only $250. Cross-selling would be, hey, would you like to revise your will while we're at it? Because you certainly don't want to leave all of that money to the jerk, do you? What if you're selling donuts? You say, hey, if you're buying a dozen donuts, would you like a second dozen for half the price? Cross-selling would be, would you like a hot cup of coffee with that? You say, well, what if I only sell one thing? Well, then you expand your product line. And even if you don't want to expand your own product line, that's no problem because other people sell complementary products. That's when we're back to our joint ventures. Let's say you're a landscaper. You could add tree trimming easily to your services. Or if you didn't want to do that, you could establish a joint venture with a tree trimming company. And while you're doing landscaping, you say, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, would you be interested in having me do your tree trimming while I'm at it? I can come back next week. They don't need to know that you're going to farm this out to a joint venture. Same with decking or fencing or stonework. You could say, you know, this grass would grow a lot better if you had a sprinkler system. I can provide that for you. They don't need to know that you're farming that out to a joint venture. Same with swimming pool installations, outdoor kitchens, outdoor lighting, patio installation, snow removal. Now, let's talk about raising your prices. Now, before you just click off and say, this guy is insane, there is no way in the world I can possibly raise my prices, I would lose my customers. I'm going to show you how you can raise your prices without losing enough customers to make up for the difference. We're going to stop discounting. Let me emphasize that. On rare occasions, you can discount for a special sale. Let's suppose that you are the CEO of Acme Widgets. For 6 decades, you have helped coyotes get all of the stuff they need to catch roadrunners. You have giant electromagnets, you have female roadrunner costumes, you have iron pellets that you hide in bird seed to be attracted by the electromagnet, you have boomerangs, you even have the tiny parasols and signs that the coyote can hold just before the giant boulder smashes him into a pancake. Now let's talk about rocket-propelled rollerblades. Let's suppose that you sell a pair of rocket-propelled roller skates for $100, but they only cost you $70, so your profit margin is $30. In order to make $300, you've got to sell 10 pairs of rocket-propelled roller skates. Now, suppose you raise your prices 10%. Again, humor me, don't tune out, just hear me out. It's still going to cost you $70, but you're going to sell them for $110, which means your profit margin is $40 per pair. Now you only have to sell 7.5 pairs to make $300. What that means is you would have to lose 25% of your customers to make up for that 10% price increase. Are you going to lose 25% of your customers with a 10% price increase? Well, if you sell houses, absolutely. But most people are not going to lose any money based on a 10% price increase. You're actually going to make more for less work and put less stress on your sales team. But now let's talk about discounting. What happens if you decide to discount by 10%? Now your profit margin is $20 per pair, and 15 pairs are what you're going to have to sell to make $300. You've got to sell 50% more to make the same amount of money you were before. Let me ask you a question. Is a 10% decrease going to increase your sales by 50%? Almost certainly not even close. In fact, I don't even move when I see a 10% sale. It has to be 30 or 40% off before I'm even going to go visit that store or that website, which is going to absolutely decimate your profit margins. I'm going to make a bold, audacious statement and then try to defend it. Here it is. Most people will not do much for a discount. The average customer does not make their decision based on price. Almost nobody does. I'm going to prove it to you right now. I ran across this article in USA Today a few years ago. The 10 cheapest cars and why almost nobody buys them. When that article was written, the cheapest new car in America was the Nissan Versa, selling for under $13,000 brand new. And they accounted for less than 1% of auto sales in the new car market that year. Stated another way, 99% of Americans who bought a new car that year paid more than they had to. This will be almost exactly the same for you. I remember when the Yugo came out years ago. It was a new car that retailed for under $4,000, and it went out of sale in no time at all. I think it was made of aluminum foil or something. Nobody wanted the thing, even though it was cheap. They paid $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 for their car when they could have gotten a used Yugo for $1.98. How many of you out there listening to me right now have as your primary television set in your living room a 7.5-inch black and white? I found this one on eBay for $29.95, and it comes with a built-in AM/FM radio. And yet you paid hundreds of dollars for your TV, and it doesn't even have an AM/FM radio in it. People don't usually make their decisions based on price. There are at least 4 things in the customer's mind that are more important than price. They are quality, value, service, and benefits. And that is why you must harp on quality, value, service, and benefits. And if you're a really good salesperson, you can even bump price down to 6th on the pecking order by inserting yourself as one of the top 5 reasons to buy, because most people want to buy from somebody they like, they know, they trust. What we want is to make sure that you give people reasons to differentiate you from your competitors so they don't make their decision based on price. As I said earlier, they're not going to compare apples to apples. They're going to be comparing apples to pomegranates or ooglies or some fruit that they don't even understand fully. They just know that it's really cool. And so they're not going to compare you to your competitors based on price, but rather on quality, value, service, benefits, and relationships. So let's go back here to our original illustration here and talk about how we're going to actually raise our prices without losing any sales. We're going to bundle things together so that the customer doesn't compare us to our competitors based on price. Let's suppose that not only are we selling a pair of rocket-propelled rollerblades, but we're also going to sell iron pellets to mix into the birdseed that are going to be attracted by that electromagnet you bought last month. Now, normally those retail for $9.95, but we buy them in bulk. We're going to only have $2 cost in those things. And then we're going to add the birdseed that normally they pay $4.95 for, but we're only going to have to pay $1 because we're going to buy this stuff by the barrel. And then we're even going to sell those tiny parasols. They retail for 12 bucks. That's what the coyote usually has to pay for a parasol, but we buy them in bulk. It only costs us 4 bucks. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to bundle all of those things together. It only costs us $77 now, but we're going to sell them for $120. The customer gladly pays because it's a fantastic value, saves the coyote money. Our profit margin now is $43 per pair, and we only have to sell 7 pairs to make the $300. This is the key to raising your prices. It is bundling lots of things together that make it a fantastic value for your customer. Now, let's talk about how to increase your profit margin on each sale. You can only do that by raising prices, which we've just talked about, or by cutting your costs. We need to cut your overhead by eliminating everything that does not gain you or keep you a customer. I have some proprietary software that I would love to take you through. It'll take about an hour. We'll do it right here on Zoom, just you and I, one-on-one or one-on-2 or 3 if you've got a management team you'd like to experience this. And we'll show you where all of the profit is hidden in your business and where all of the waste is hidden. I guarantee you will find you at least another $100,000 in business. Usually it comes out to $200,000, $300,000, or $400,000 in your first year if you cut out all of this and find all of the hidden profits in your business. My job is to take your leaky boat and show you where all of the leaks are. Now, you can sail a leaky boat in good times. You just have to keep bailing it out. But in storms like we're experiencing right now, a lot of those boats are going to sink. I'm going to show you where the leaks are, how to patch them, and how to sail straight ahead to your destination with this software. If you'd like me to take you through that, it's usually $1,997. I'll do that absolutely free. It'll take an hour. Just email me, profitmax@billyriggs.com, and we'll take you through that. I also want to show you, this is my online business course. It is the most voluminous business course on the market. $97 a month if you want to do it yourself approach. Every week you'll get a lesson and a quick 30-minute video that will help you build your business in the right order and show you how to take it to 7-figure status. It'll have a quick start program. It will have hundreds of advertisements already written for dozens of industries. It'll have hundreds of headlines, an entire entire library of advertising campaigns, of sales letters already written. All you have to do is put in your own name, change a few words to make it applicable to you. This will give you the equivalent of an MBA in entire year. It's usually $97 a month. It will be $97 a month, but I'll start it out for $27 a month if you like, and then go up to $57 and then $97 in the third month. You can back out anytime you want, but you won't want to. This is going to be exactly what you've needed if you don't want to take a full coaching program, which can start as low as $297 a month with me, where I'll give you an hour of coaching per year. When you do all of this, you're going to get yourself a system that will generate a consistent flow of leads that will be coming to you. You're going to have a self-sustaining business model that will keep growing and going even when you're on vacation. You don't even have to be there. This is where you're going to get economic freedom and when you're going to get freedom of time. We're going to be able to show you a way to deliver business to yourself without you having to sell all the time. If you design websites for a living, hey, the moment you deliver a website, you're unemployed, aren't you? You've got to go find a new website client. So when you execute all of these strategies I'm going to show you, you'll always have new orders in your pipeline. You'll have joint venture partners sending you business on a regular basis. You'll have upsells, downsells, and cross-sells taking place on a regular basis. You'll have some additional affiliate products that you can sell either directly or through affiliate partners. You'll be able to raise your prices and your customers will gladly pay them because of the value you're offering. We'll be able to lower your cost. And all of this is going to be yours. Now, I told you I'd show you how you could get a free book. Just email me, profitmax@billyriggs.com, and I'll direct you to my website where you can have your pick of any of those 5 books. Don't buy them there because you'll have to pay for them. Just email me which book you'd like, and I'll email you a copy of it absolutely free of charge. If you'd like to learn more about the e-learning system that's online, that is absolutely yours for $27 starting the first month, which will include the entire Quick Start system and the course on how to take your business to 7-figure status. Or you can ask me about how I can provide some private online coaching for $297 a month or more, depending on how you want to handle this. That's free online coaching over Zoom, or if you're local here to Dripping Springs, Texas, or Austin, Texas, I'll be able to meet with you one-on-one, face-to-face when the shutdown ends. I would be delighted to help you in any way that you see fit. Just email me, profitmax@billyriggs.com. Thanks so much for joining me. Your free book will be on its way as soon as you email me and tell me which one you want. I look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks a lot. I sure appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful day, and I hope this has helped you a whole lot. Take care, and bye-bye.